Hello and welcome to a post-match video of what has to be it's a draw, but I am over the moon with this game and this performance and the feeling afterwards, because in watching a game like that, I do not think you could be more encouraged by what we are seeing. I do not think you could be more encouraged by, um, you know, by what we are seeing from United in that game. As an overall performance, it was exceptional, absolutely exceptional. There were, especially the last 60 minutes or so, I think United were far and away the better team for the most part, which is ironic because Liverpool scored a couple of goals really against the run of things, and I can show that in a minute with some numbers. All the stats aren't really going to totally match up because you get things like the penalty, you get things like that, but you also get interesting incidents where, like, Ahmad is probably the best chance of the game, accidentally heads it backwards, so it doesn't actually even count as a shot or an expected goals or anything. But absolutely the most encouraging performance, and I have to say that again, 2 days of actually getting to train finally. There was things that I want to point out that I saw that were different, that were an improvement to the shape. You're going to see the 3-4-2-1 show up better than it has ever when we look at the map here on this. A lot of defensive and offensive principles started to really show up, and it really does tell the tale that they just need time to implement this further and further. But it was also really important to see a lot of players competing at the highest level. Good performances from players who were probably more sticking to the position. I'll talk specifically about Bruno because I've criticized him heavily recently, and I think for good reason. But it's not about an agenda. When a player does really well, at the same thing, you praise it because that's the whole point. It's not hating or not liking or overrating players. You've got to look at what they're actually doing and talking about it. Just a great performance. And I think that when you look at it, I don't know that United had a better game away from home against a big team. Against a big team, have United had a better performance away against a big team in the Premier League? When's the last time? I can't think of one. I really can't think of one. Because that was toe-to-toe dogfight where we probably deserved to win against the league leaders. Really, against the league leaders. And against a team that is running away with it, right? Running away with it. And you can see the plan working really well. You can see the plan working really, really well. And the improvements in there. And the first time we probably have not played on the counter and in transition football and put in a performance like that against a top team away, probably since Sir Alex retired. I mean, you could call me crazy for that and say that that's nuts, but if you really do think about it, we haven't scored at Anfield in the Premier League in 6 years. So it's not that crazy. We weren't doing amazing performances under Van Gaal. We had a couple big wins with Oli, but I don't think it was away in the Premier League against these teams. So really, you have to consider and look at the when you contextualize it, just how good a performance that was. Liverpool have been flying. And to do that and make that and to compete with them and look like we deserve to be there, that's something special. Absolutely something special to be proud of. I think that obviously, looking through the run through of the goals, Lissandro's finish tops. All comes from crashing the box, pressing high and getting up there and using those extra runners to get free. We found so much joy in behind their right back. Not a surprise, but those curving runs, those runs in behind, the crashing the box is something we have not seen enough of so far, but I know it's such a huge principle for Ruben Amorim, and it's been there. And it's been, and now we are seeing it. Another, I think the goals that Liverpool had a few good chances that they didn't score, but Gakpo's equalizer, just a massive mistake by Matthijs de Ligt. Cody Gakpo does one thing: cut back, score, cut back, score, cut back, shoot. You cannot go to ground in your own box like that. It's out of control on a wet surface, on all that, out of control. Just a huge error. And then a few minutes later, the handball, I think it's contentious on the call because we don't get those. But his hand is way up there. I don't know. I don't want to totally hammer him on that, but his hand is in a really weird position considering it's way up in the air. But again, it comes off the guy's head a few feet, like a foot away from him. So it's like, what the hell, man? I don't think that's deserved. Either way, it wasn't deserved, right? It's not like it prevented a real chance. There was a couple moments there where Nunez did something that looked like a clear red to me, didn't get called. There was a potential handball on the other side that didn't even get reviewed. I don't expect the refs to give us any favors, and they didn't. And so, when you add that kind of context in, I think it was rough. But Ahmad comes back, scores a good goal. The change to put Garnacho in the front and move Bruno deep worked really well there to get us back into some play. And, at that moment in time, moving Bruno deep worked really well. And I'll talk about Bruno quite a bit in a minute. When it was late in the game. And it really goes to show the problem we have. Doesn't really trust doesn't trust a lot of players on his team. And he knows Casemiro and Eriksen aren't it. They didn't see the pitch today against Liverpool, right? He knows how bad that is. So I thought it made sense. I saw some people questioning that when Kabi came off, but I thought that was a good move. I thought Kabi had a rough start to the game, but improved a lot as it went on. Yes, I think he did. Yeah, just incredibly, incredibly encouraging. If we look at some of the stats on this overall, you look at first this momentum chart. We were a little poor to start the game, but I thought we started to go back and forth with Liverpool in the first half. And in the first half, I think they had a really good big chance with McAllister getting in on net that Onana saved. But then Hojlund had a big one-on-one getting in on net too. And I think the best chance of the game is one that will not show up on the stats of the XG, and that was Ahmad. A big cross in from Dalot. A big thing we saw today was the interplay. Bruno staying high, first of all, and staying more positionally sound made a big difference this game. And he was much better doing a lot of the simple things, especially in the second half. 3-3 dribbles. His carrying was good. His passing percentages were still low, but they were in better areas. He was winning the ground duels. That's a big one. He still lost the ball a lot, but I'm okay with the performance today. I think at halftime this was like 21, so the second half was a lot better. But I'm okay with this today because positionally, most of that was in heavy attacking areas. He still had a few bozo moments in the first 30 minutes or so, but it improved a lot as the game went on. But yeah, it was really, I was encouraged by this today. It was positionally, it was better. He was finding Dalot, who was making a lot of good overlapping runs today. I thought Dalot was actually quite good today, especially given that he was marking Mohamed Salah and on Trent's side. Dalot did a good job today. He picked up a yellow early, but stayed disciplined the rest of the game. Anyway, he got in behind from Bruno, put that cross in. Ahmad's here. He's free on net. He overruns the ball. That doesn't even count as a chance. It's probably the best chance of the game. It's probably, if he's on target, it's a 0.8, 0.9 XG chance. It's like the best one. That is not going to be reflected in the stats, but that is a huge swing when you look at it, right? So you have to look at contextualizing stats and the performances with things like that. But I thought that was a really good moment. Hojlund, I think, has had a really bad game. It's the only player I looked at on the pitch. We can talk about De Ligt in a minute. He's the only player I looked at on the pitch and thought, he's not getting it. The hold-up play was rough. The ball bouncing off of him pretty constantly when he comes in there. 8 bat losses on 18 is not good enough. His movement wasn't there. He had the one-on-one with Alisson. He missed that. Shot it straight at him. He's got to do better. You can see the lack of forward options is problematic there. A dynamic goal scorer. There's obviously been a lot of talk of Osimhen and things like that. I don't think we can get it done in January. It's so complicated. But if Rashford is out, and I do think Rashford will go, then it's we need to replace him with a prolific, good, proven scorer to play in front of Hojlund for Hojlund to learn from. I think that's the ideal. That would be the best thing, and that would be huge, and that would give us probably the edge because we could have been up a couple of goals on those 2 chances early on as well. We certainly could have. Ahmad, I think, had a hit or miss game at times, like that one, but there was some really nice interplay and then a really nice goal there at the end, from Garnacho. And you can see in the second half the momentum shift. Like, these goals came from shit. Like, they were not deserved. Liverpool had a spell here where they got the penalty, but we were the better team. We were the better team overall. Ugarte was unbelievable again. You can see how many times he's competing for the ball, and just being tenacious. His carrying was impressive. His passing was impressive. He was, running through 2-3 players. I really don't get the need to be right about this guy, about being lukewarm on him. He's been incredible, and he just went against arguably the best midfield in the Premier League and showed him up. Against McAllister, Jones, and Gravenberch, he was better than all of them. He was running through them. He was shutting them down. Big difference. Mazraoui and Dalot, positionally, you could see this, were a lot better today at staying high and wide in the buildup. And that helped us a lot. We looked a lot better today. The wingbacks in his back five are different, right, than... It's one of the biggest changes, right, in this change in formation, and it's probably the thing that needs the most time on the training ground. It's natural for a winger to sit high and wide. It's not natural for a fullback to do so. So when you're playing fullbacks in that position, they probably need more instruction than usual, and the training seems to help a lot with that, because positionally, they were way better today. In possession, they were better at getting up the pitch, getting into dangerous areas, and contributing to the attack. I thought they both performed very well today. I think Dalot had probably his best game of the season for him. But I actually thought Mazraoui was quite good too. A lot of times escaping, getting in the build-up, working with Ahmad and Ugarte to progress us up the pitch was working quite well. Maguire was insane. I mean, insane today, as per usual. Insane. But doing extremely well. He was so aggressive in the tackle, so good stepping out. Lissandro, there's still concerns defensively, but we managed to keep quiet on his side, which was nice. He put a couple good passes in. He put Hojlund through, and then he scored that incredible goal by crashing the box. So the qualities on the ball showed up today really well. De Ligt, I thought he was doing decent until this second half. The really huge mistake on that Gakpo chance. Should not have gone to ground under any circumstances. You got to know your opposition, and you do not go to ground and let him cut inside. You have no need to block off the touchline run. You block the inside, force him out. It's 101. I mean, it's so basic against a right-footed player on the left. Push them to their left foot. It was just a huge error, and then the handball single-handedly probably cost us the win today, unfortunately. Onana was exceptional. He was. If you think about his saves today, he made a lot of really, really big saves. He did. He made a lot of really big saves. He almost saved the penalty too. I thought he had it. He went the right way. It seemed to just go right underneath him. But I want to point this out positionally. Look at this. This is your 3-4-2-1 really starting to show, right? Better than it has. See? Then them staying a little more narrow. The striker staying up and making some of the runs to drag and create spaces. This is better. Positionally, in the build-up and in the attack, it was better from Hojlund. His final third runs in the box still need massive improvement. His hold-up play still needs massive improvement. But that was it. And then your 6 really protecting the back line, and your other 8 roaming a bit more. And he was helping out a lot on Salah's side, was Kobbie Mainoo. But positionally, this was a big, big difference. Big improvement here in terms of the shape overall to really match what Emram would want to, because you use this striker movement to create spaces for these players to get in where they can stay up the pitch more and continue to get on the ball. Bruno obviously dropped deep when the sub came in later, so he played a bit deeper at latter points. But this is a much, much closer representation of it. The other thing that they did really well today was defend narrow. Stay narrow in defense. Don't have those wingers go rushing out wide. You can watch the first half back. I noted it in the first 15 minutes. To minimize the chances Liverpool have, press high, drop off, and then minimize the middle of the pitch, get the ball back, and move it forward safely and securely. And we got better at it as the game went on. that is another huge principle of Amorim play. The wingbacks getting high in possession and the defense staying narrow out of possession. And it needs work. There was times they didn't track runners, let some players through, but overall, I thought it actually was a big part of why we went long stretches neutralizing Liverpool from doing much of anything. Overall, like I said, I don't think the numbers are a great representation on the stats wise, but you can see we competed. I think these numbers are way off. There's probably other models and things, but you have to also consider one big point. You get nearly a full 0.8 XG off a penalty where there was nothing created out of that, and you get nothing for Ahmad's chance, which is maybe the best of the game. I think that using one-off games as a measure isn't that good. I think our chances were as good as theirs, if not better, when you take the penalty away. But look how we competed. I do not get the underrating of Manuel Ugarte. I really don't get it, why people need to be soft and lukewarm on him. He completely outworked their entire midfield today, right? It's refreshing. I don't know if this is going to change at all. There's some other, to me, what I would consider other better measures, perhaps, of these things. But regardless, like I said, when you take the penalty away and you add in Ahmad's, I think it would look a lot different. Here, let me get this tweet and put it in here really quick, because I like this account for their measures. I think they tend to be a little bit more accurate. It's that Mark R Stats bot one. I like it. I think it shows a much more evenly contested game, 2.71 to 1.48, right? So if you take out the penalty and you add an Ahmad's chance, we probably have a higher XG than them. That's the truth. That's a reality. Again, you take this big bump here, you can see that we would, and you add in a big Ahmad one here, we're probably level. And when you look at the threat and opportunities overall, again, pretty level, all things considered. So I think we really competed. A little left-sided was definitely more dynamic. Interestingly, Hojlund providing the stretch threat, I thought that was actually a really good thing to open us up a little bit. But again, a big part of that was because they were focused on the right side, which pushes us to the left, and kind of vice versa. I think we did really good. If you look at non-penalty XG, it's 1.95 to 1.48, and look at from live, 1.56 to 1.35. So again, you add the Ahmad chance in, and we actually had more chances. Again, it's a 0 XG because he hit it backwards. So I really do think that when you contextualize the stats, we deserve to win this game. And I think the game showed that. Again, I think look at the wingbacks progressing. This is huge. People have been talking a lot about progression in the midfield, and I keep saying, no, it's not his way. It is not his way to progress through the midfield. That is not the answer. That is not what Amorim wants. He wants progression through the wide areas, through your wingbacks. They did it today. They did it how you would want it today. They stayed high in possession. They got the ball. They carried it up the pitch. They moved it up the pitch. This is really, really important. This is really, really big right here. This is big. Those wingbacks being your best progressors is going to be a hallmark of Amorim. So very, very encouraging stuff. Overall, Bruno, so much better today in that disciplined, staying high and doing his job, and doing it well, and creativity and just everybody doing their job well was a lot better. Everybody doing the right things in the right positions all together was better. And that's after getting a week of training. We get another week now. Encouraging stuff. Bruno and Ugarte, easily my men of the match, probably together. I can't pick apart one because I think without Ugarte, that game is over. And I think Bruno was great as well. But Ugarte was probably the best player on the pitch for me. Following that, maybe Maguire after them. Just really good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff. Very encouraging. Really exciting. And again, leave me your thoughts in the comments below. Have we had a better, and I mean, when you contextualize all of it, against the league leaders at Anfield, given all of those, have we had a better performance away in the Premier League since how long? When was the last time we had a better away performance in the league? I can't honestly think of one against a top team. I really, really can't think of one. In a long, long time. So yeah, exciting stuff. We needed this. I mean, I know it's a point. We should have had 3. It's a big point, but more than anything, it's a big point because everybody expected us to get absolutely slapped today. And you can see with some training and some work that the ideas are coming through. The better we get at doing what Amarim wants, the better we will be. That was so encouraging to me, and I think we will carry this momentum forward into some better games now because you can see it was the idea that was working. Another week to train, where we actually get more training time. Get him something in January to help. That's really all that there is because we don't have a lot of options to rotate and keep up what we're doing right now. I don't. That's the biggest issue I see. He needs some help. In the squad to keep this up. Again, I would do that left wing back. I think Yoro will get into the starting 11 here regularly soon, which is good. We need that starting left wing back. Get Dallo some rests. Keep up. You can see how good we are when the left wing back can perform, and Dallo did today. But it's not natural for him. If we had a left footer doing that all the time, you can see how much better I think we would be, even with it being fullbacks and not necessarily wingers. But it would also give us more opportunities for different flexible changes and things like that. So yeah, great stuff. Really encouraged. I hope you enjoyed the game, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon.